Yona hands it over to O'Toole. We'll see if the MVP starts continuing his cooking. But instead, hands it up to Watterson. Watterson go for the quick layup, and it is good. Find a way to get around Malcolm with that score as they take the first punch.
Yeah, and keep an eye on Watterson. He was pretty quiet last game, especially compared to who he was guarding, Andreas. I mean, obviously, they didn't need him to step up as much. As speaking of, the Dragon answering back with one of his own.
Yeah, it seems like both teams are really wanting to rely within the paint once again very early on. That's really kind of been the theme for a lot of these games. They really want to try and dish into the paint more so than rely on the perimeter.
Well, last game was the first game we really saw the perimeter game take off. I mean, going in before that, it had been a bit of struggle for both teams, and that's why Kokino's blocking Narcissa going for the three, and that's just a size disadvantage for her.
Yeah, once again, really struggling here as Winnipeg now just takes the lead, and that's also been another theme here is Narcissa really trying to, ride that into the sunset with high hopes, but it hasn't really been one of the best series for her in her career. But right now, they just got to try and shake that off and try to continue on. As Cassius, once again, I think they got blocked as well as it went up.
It was by Martineau. And the point has been, Winnipeg has been letting Malka and Andreas be a main guarding factor against Narcissa. As we see Eves with three.
And just like that, the Winnipeg is able to be up by 5 and showing that they are not phased of what happened last night.
Well, don't forget, Albany had a big lead previously to start a game and ended up choking it away. And a great opportunity for a three-point play is Vaston, who will head to the line for one extra.
You have that old school three-point play, as I like to say. And we'll see if Albany is able to cut the deficit down to 2 with this free throw. The crowd quieting down a little bit, giving Yona a shot. And he is able to make the old school three-point play. So now they are only down by 2, 7-5, as we just went past the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, and I'm sure both coaches after last night's or the other night's game brought up the importance of free throws, as we saw 3 missed free throws by the Winnipeg Voyagers left the tiniest crack for the Albany Alphas to close out that game.
Yeah, right now we saw Albany being able to stop them right there, and they get stolen once again for Winnipeg. So right now, good defenses on both ends of the ball for these past couple of possessions. As Baltov has the rock.
Oh, it's the Dragon we get down low in the post again.
Yeah, Kokino is really just showing his strut as he does extend the lead up to 4. We'll see if Albany tries to answer back. It's O'Toole. Hand it up over back to Yona. Yona does get the screen. Trying to go for a tough layup, but it hits the side of the rim. So far, it's been a little bit of a quiet night for Albany as Winnipeg is still strutting her down as they're able to extend the lead once again back up to 6.
Yeah, and that's just Malka doing it himself.
Yeah, and that's not the field goal potential you really want to see. They have to find a way to contain Malka and Kokinos within the paint because they're just really been in control for most of those possessions. And now Cassius trying to go for that long 2, but it hits the side of the rim, so she's still feeling pretty cold tonight. So right now, Eve hands it up to Malka. Lots of passing along the perimeter. Now Martineau has to do something with it. There's not a lot of 6 on the shot clock. He goes for a long 3, but it's no good. That was a pretty, very idle play for that possession, and it really didn't give any kind of dice for Winnipeg. And we'll see if O'Toole can pretty much cut this lead down. He does just that with a quick 3.
Yeah, wide open. Again, they're keeping a lot of pressure on Narcissa. You saw the defenders were keeping more of an eye on her. Yeah, she had the ball, but that just left Terry O'Toole so open on the left side.
Yeah, and that's something you really want to see is having your MVP wide open, and to get another miss there by Winnipeg. As now you've seen it hands over to O2. O2 with a nice dish over to Waterston with a quick lay-in and score. And just like that, we have cut the deficit down 2-1, 11-10.
And again, that's just Terry. Good court awareness from the doggo there with able to see the Otter driving to the paint and laying it up and in.
Yeah, and now we get another missed possession there for Winnipeg as Albany trying to see if they can take the lead with this shot. And they're not able to get it down, but we get the quick cleanup. Very good shot there. As they now are up by 1, 12-11. So now Albany got their first lead. I believe it's their first lead.
Yeah, Winnipeg, I think, scored first, and Albany tied it up, but they were down by 5 at one point. And like you said, Albany has had explosive potential, and we keep seeing it come out whenever these leads build. And a nice, all they're going to say is pause. We're on the line there.
Yeah, he was within the arc, so that's going to count as a 2. But they have gotten the lead once again, so we might see another game with quite a few lead changes in the early going. As Narcissa gets the quick screen, goes for a Rice mid-ranger, and she's able to get it down pretty easy. That's what you would like to see from Narcissa.
Well, and it comes down to, again, calling for a screen from Kivar and Waterson gives her the most availability. And, the alley-oop. Waterson, the height advantage, able to stop that. Baltave tried to throw the ball pretty much to the sky there, but Waterson still tracked it down.
Yeah, right now, Kivar does hand it over to Cassius. We'll see if they're able to try and extend this lead now since they have an opportunity to do so. And Cassius is able to do just that. And now they're now up by 3. Narcissa's starting to cook up a little bit here as the game goes on.
Yeah, she's definitely starting to heat up now. And another alley-oop attempt intercepted.
Yeah, that's not a good shot there for Winnipeg. They're starting to be a little bit sloppy as Kivar tries to lay it up, but it's no good. Malka does get the rebound.
And again, Narcissa, if she's starting to find her range, Winnipeg has to be worried about that. Obviously, once the three-pointers start trickling in, we saw that was the difference maker in Game 5. So I expect them to keep their perimeter defense pretty tight and just hope that the Dragon can contain the Otter, and he does on that possession.
Yeah, Waterson not able to get it down. Really good defense there for Kokinos. We'll see if Winnipeg tries to capitalize and take the lead back. As Carbonneau tries to lay it up, and it is good. So they do get the lead back once again, 17-16 from that basket from Eve. And now Narcissa probably waiting for that screen, and she does get it. Possibly trying to look to get that quick drive from the bigger defender, but she's not getting budged, and it's going to go for a tough shot, and that is no good. Really good defensive effort there by Malka. And now here comes Yona. Oh, excuse me, Kokinos. Trying to get into the paint. Trying to go for a quick, and it gets blocked really quickly, and it's still going to be out of bounds. Voyager's ball, but that's a nice little statement there from Waterson, as he's able to block it with ease.
And we'll see both teams going ahead and bringing part of their second team. And right there, Mike Timmons coming on the floor, player to keep your eye on from the Winnipeg side. He has been stepping up these past couple games for Winnipeg off the bench.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be someone to really look out for. He's really been the spark here for Winnipeg, and he is trying to see if he can continue that, but it's no good as it hits the side of the rim. And it looks like a fast break opportunity for Albany. Going for that nice transition 3 from Terry O'Toole, the good boy.
Big good boy, yes, that is an accurate description of him. But again, that was the play. Narcissa driving the paint, forcing the defense to respect her, and that just left Terry O'Toole open. I mean, that's the real challenge for Winnipeg. You have 2 stars you have to defend, and if you defend one well, it often leaves the other one just slightly open somewhere else on the floor.
And right now is no good there for the first attempt, but it didn't matter because, you know, you already got Eli doing what he does best, being that big Magnolia laying it up and in, tying it up, 19 apiece. Got less than 3 minutes left of the first quarter now. And Narkisa trying to drive into the paint, going for that fadeaway, and she made it look way too easy.
So Eli is just Kevin's bigger brother, right? I know he's from Texas, but you know, might as well be. Put the two of them next to each other. Yeah, Kevin Malka's a little wider, but I'm waiting for the point guard Pangolin to make it to the lead. But there, Timmons is dunking it down.
Yeah, we've spoken before. Timmons has really been the spark plug coming off the bench for Winnipeg, and he was going to get his as he does get the steal, possibly trying to get another fast break opportunity, but it was no good. He got a little bit too spicy in that one, so we're still 21 apiece, and that was another turnover there. This time Lynn gets the steal, and Timmons is able to finish it up with a nice teardrop.
And they barely dribbled the ball that possession again. Pass to Lynn, or Lynn got the ball and then laying it up. Ooh! Narkissa driving the paint and attacking herself. She is definitely picking it up here.
Yeah, after been struggling so far in this series as a whole, she's finally able to get her rhythm going. And when she get her rhythm going, that's going to spell a lot of danger here for Winnipeg. But we'll see if they try to extend it. But no, it gets stolen, get ripped out of the paws by Johansson. And now we're going to see Narkisa trying to lay it up, but it is no good. I think she was looking for a foul there, but they're not going to give it to her. And now Carmen trying to go for a tough three, but it's no good.
And I think it's been Terry waking up the past this game and last game that has really allowed Narkissa a little bit more breathing room to make these plays, because the defense is having to be a bit more active in their role of guarding. And ooh, a block there.
Yeah, I think she was trying to go for a drop for a lay-in, but instead goes for that mid-ranger. But they do still have the ball, but it's not going to matter much as Winnipeg does get the defensive stop. And they're going to go for a quick transition layup, and it's good by Carbonu. Really nice hook shot.
And right there, points in the paint. You see Winnipeg almost 80% of their points coming from the paint, whereas, sorry, no, Albany's 80%. Phew, my brain. One team is doing it all in the paint, the other one is doing it from mid-range, and the paint points are going to give you a higher percentage, especially when the defense is so strong. That was Lynn this time with the block.
Yeah, great block by Lynn, and we're going to see if Timmons try to finish this up quickly, and he's not able to do it, but he gets his own rebound, trying to see if he can try and get that tough two-point shot, and he does just that.
And Albany will have the final possession. Again, expect Narkissa or Terry to get a three-pointer possibly here off, but wait for the last second or so before running a play and try and get one of the two open. Or Vassar, who's going to do it himself and rattles out. So close to going.
Yeah, and we're going to end it up here with Winnipeg up by 4, 27-23. Even though Albany has been down a little bit, they are starting to find some rhythm in the early goings of the first quarter.
Yeah, no, I've given up on saying any lead is too much for Albany to overcome if they find the right gear at the right time. But it is going to take some serious consistency going forward, because Winnipeg has not shown any signs of slowing down after last game. Yeah, they struggled in the overtime, but before that they were shooting outlandishly, and Timmons will go to the line for two.
Yeah, Johansson will get called for the foul for that play, so Mike Timmons will go on the line for two. And I have to say, Timmons really just showing, continuing being that high-key player in this series as he is able to make the first one. Just being that offensive spark, which is a good thing because he and Loomis have been really battling it out throughout this series.
Yeah, I feel like Loomis has disappeared in some games, and that can be problematic for the Albany bench in terms of they need his production.
Yeah, speaking of, Loomis handed up to Cloverfield. We get a nice dish into the paint for a quick slam. Really excellent play there for Albany as they are able to get that quick dunk to cut the deficit down to 4, 29-25. Now Ide gets quick screen. Hands it over to Ryukov. And now we got a very, very good advantage there for Eli. And Eli wants to go for the easy hook shot. He's just really playing around with the smaller defender in Loomis as he does extend the lead up to 6.
And you see there Oscar was starting to cheat towards him, but they were leaving the guard wide open on the perimeter. And honestly, just need to commit at some point because Eli versus the tiny bunny Cloverfield is not, sorry, the rabbit, not the bunny, is going to go poorly in the post game as Ryu gets blocked by Oscar.
Ooh. Yeah, right now we're seeing Albany trying to pick up on the defense as Loomis tries to lay it up, and it is good. And I believe that was the first bucket for Loomis as they do cut the deficit back down to 4. And now we'll see if Winnipeg can respond as Timmons is just going right by Loomis, but he's not able to get the lay-in, but he gets his own rebound, but he does get the second chance opportunity. And he's just taking advantage of Loomis and Cloverfield because of how much bigger he is compared to the two.
Yeah, and not just that, but the veteran in general having a good understanding of how to fight in the post, double teamed even in those offensive situations. And for Winnipeg, their goal I feel like is just to build up a lead. They do want to break Albany's spirits. Obviously last night they weren't able to. As Ide getting the pull-up jumper from the free throw line. If Winnipeg's up by 20, I think they might feel a little safe at some point. But even then, I feel like they're going to go for the killing blow here if they can.
They're going to have to because right now that's the only way they're able to get this championship, and that's going to be one way to win on the road. Because that's been the theme as we get another missed shot there as Albany does get the rebound. Now Rethal trying to find a way to fight into the paint, and they do just that as they get the quick 2.
Yeah, and they're right there. Winnipeg's bench outscoring by 10. I mean, that right there is Albany would be winning right now if all things were equal between their benches.
Yeah, for sure. And that really goes to show how good of a second unit Winnipeg has. I have alluded early in the series as we get a really bad shot there from Timmons. And now Albany trying to see if they can pick up the pace, but the good transition defense for Winnipeg as they're able to double team and get the easy block on him.
Well, I mean, Connie, yeah, gonna have trouble in the post, but honestly, Timmons had to dive around Oscar's not easy. The St. Bernard's quite wide, left very little room for a shot in the basket. As Albany will get a defensive stop there. But it doesn't matter,
so
Lynn with another great block.
Lynn just really showing off a little bit of a block party right now. As now Timmons hands it over to Ide and trying to slow the pace down just a little bit more, trying to get some kind of game plan going as we see Timmons with the rock one more time, trying to get for the quick screen, going for a tough mid-ranger, but it is good. Good defense there by Cloverfield. There's now Loomis.
I mean, Lynn, she's just been awesome tonight in the series, showing up on defense. And, I mean, the Pink Menace showing her worth off the bench.
Especially when it comes to a prime time game such as this, as Timmons hands it up to Ide. Gets the quick screen. Possibly going right by the defender, going for the pick up, but it gets blocked. Great help defense there for Albany.
And that was all Oscar coming in and just swatting the ball out. But both teams have now stalled here as defense has taken over for both of them.
Yeah, that seems to really be the case as we're seeing Loomis struggling, only getting one field goal, and it is out of bounds. Voyagers, it's still going to be Voyagers' ball, but right now Albany is making sure to let them know that we could be as defensive as you guys are.
Yeah, I mean, the block there from Rethal, making Winnipeg work for their points, but again, if Albany's not able to make up any deficit, as they're leaving Caliber a little too wide open there, and he hits the three off the bench.
Very nice way to extend the lead, so now they have a chance to break it to double digits with that shot, with now up to a 9-point lead. We'll see if Tick's able to try and help them out with a fadeaway as it does go down for her. Really showing a little bit of that range for the polar bear.
I mean, that is definitely pushing range for her. I mean, she was almost leaning back towards the three-point line. It tells you something when the polar bear has to do a fadeaway to create space. And, ooh, a foul there. Going to send, I think that was I to the line for 2.
Yeah, I'd once again having to go on the line for 2 to extend the lead once more, back up to possibly a 9-point lead.
Oh, are you doing the caster's
wait,
curse thing right
me.
now?
I'm not doing any kind of curse. What are you talking about? See? Look at that.
Until the second one has been made, I don't believe you just did not put a curse on.
I didn't put a curse. Trust me. I think everything's fine. They have the opportunity to extend it up to 9 with if they're able to make both.
Okay, you're off the
See,
hook
look at
this
that
time.
confidence. See, I have no casters cursed up in this booth right now. Anyway, we're gonna continue on with this game as Isijima is trying to wait for a play to get going as he passes it up to Cloverfield. Just gonna have to look to choke it up, but he's going for a really tough one. Really taking too long holding the ball there. And now here comes Winnipeg trying to speed things up a little bit. Passes it over into Ida in the paint, and they're not able to. So right now, it just seems like things are going to calm down as we get a quick 3, and it does rattle in. Really nice shot there by Cassius as she is on fire so far. Really doing a much better job. Easily the best start for a game in this series.
Yeah,
and Caliber ends up losing the ball there.
We don't normally see her coming off the bench and immediately hitting a shot like that. She's had to kind of warm her way up to it. But just like that, Albany, the substitution, being a bit of a spark plug here as they're back within 4 already.
And this has really been the theme so far in this series. Is Albany, even though they're in a hole, they find ways to dig back up. Shows how much grit that this team has. We'll see if Winnipeg's able to try to quiet down this crowd. If they're screaming defense with that mid-ranger, and they do just that.
Yeah, but both teams not too far off. I mean, obviously, Albany's missed 2 more shots than Winnipeg. Narcissa, again, the screen not able to make it work, though, from Kivar. Or, sorry, that wasn't the Kivar. That was, gosh, my brain's frying right now. Is Winnipeg will answer back with another one.
Yeah, another one trying to see if they can quiet down this crowd just a bit as they do get the deficit up to 8.
Up to down.
As Takado. Up, down, back up, and around. Yeah, right now Cloverfield trying to see if they can get some kind of action going. Going for that screen. Not able to get by her defender, but she gets it anyways.
Well, she floated in air there. You saw she went up for the shot and pulled it back down, almost like she was gliding on air, and the defender just floated past her. So good double clutch from her to get that shot up without a defender really being able to impact it.
Yeah, right now Caliber going for a mid-ranger, answering right on back.
Well, he's having a great night so far. I mean, the three-pointer earlier and definitely getting some baskets here. His best game so far in this series, and at a time that Winnipeg definitely needs him to step up, is a big pass down low in the post on Narcissa.
Ooh. What a great pass from the Cassius there.
Cassius to Cassius.
Yeah, Cassius to Cassius. Great pass from both of them. That really shows how much in sync they are from this season. And now we're getting a nice quick shot there. No good. Caliber, and now we're going to see if they can cut down the deficit to 4. Cassius got the screen over that pick and pop, and it is good, and that's gonna be 3. I was kind of worried that her paws were on the line, but it's gonna count as a anyways. So now they got the deficit down to a single possession.
And honestly, no team has called timeout yet. I think Winnipeg might need to consider one here. If they don't make this basket, and if Albany makes this next one, they have to call timeout.
Yeah, that could be the case. As right now, we get a quick dish over to Kivar, and Kivar lays it up, and it's good. And we'll see if they're going to call timeout. It doesn't look like it's going to be the case, as we're going to continue on with 2 minutes left of the first half. And we almost saw the ball being loose, so instead it will be a jump ball. But that is not something you want to see if you're a Voyager fan.
Well, it's Kivar versus Malka, and I think Kivar's going to win. Oh, Malka actually gets the timing better. I was going to give it to Kivar. He has a bit more of a jump than the big Pangolin, but just better timing on his part.
Yeah, and now Kokinos hands it over to Caliber, and we'll see if they're going to go for a quick three, and it hits the side of the rim. No good. Watterson does get the rebound. And now Albany has a chance to take the lead. If they do, you got to imagine Winnipeg has to call timeout here. Cassius goes for that 3 ball, and she does miss it. So Winnipeg has been able to prevent them from taking the lead. We'll see if they can extend it here, and they do just that with Odd with the finger roll.
And those players have been waiting to check in for a while. No dead ball situation. And the half is almost over, so you almost have to imagine one team will call timeout before, just to bring in their best shooters to finish the game. And Terry's been sitting there now waiting to get in.
Yeah, right now Cassie's is trying to find a way to be the main focal point, but she has calmed down a little bit when it comes to shooting. As I trying to go for an answer for a mid-ranger, but it's swing and a miss. So now Cassius hands it over to Isajima. Isajima trying to pass it up, but it ends up getting intercepted. So now we're getting a quick transition over to Odd for 3, but it's no good. Caliber gets the rebound though, but he's not able to get that second chance opportunity. And right now, it just seems missed shot after missed shot. Someone has to make it eventually,
there we go,
right?
Dead ball.
And we get the and we get the old school and one opportunity there. So we're going to see Kivar being able to make one, and it is no good. We all
there
the
you go. Casters cursed him.
I guess it was going to happen eventually, at least once, but it is what it is. And it doesn't really matter here, as Albany still has a chance to at least take the lead with Kivar trying to go for the quick hook shot, but it's no good.
And he's the one who got the block on Kokinos there, and Winnipeg will get the final possession if they so choose.
If they could, if they're trying to look for something, as they dish over to Kokinos. Kokinos does have a bit of a size advantage against Kivar, and he does get the hook up, and it is good. I think they were trying to draw a charge, but it didn't mean much, as Albany tries to make the final shot, but it's no good. So we will end this with Winnipeg up by 3, 50-47. Where, and just as expected, both teams really giving it tit for tat.
Yeah, we got 24 minutes left to go in this game, and it has been leaning to Winnipeg, but Albany has shown signs of life, signs of the fire that got them through Game 5, and they just have to keep stoking those flames, and eventually they might fully ignite and overwhelm the Voyagers. As we take a look at the stats, Narcissa, again, having the better, arguably best game of the series so far for her, 16 points, 5 rebounds, which is not normally what the Lemur does, but she's getting close to a double-double at this rate. Kivar doing well from the floor as well, 3 for 5. Watterson, every bit of stat gathering going on with a block, steal, and 2 for 3 from the field. O'Toole, 6 points, perfect from the 3-point line, so keep an eye on him. Might see him continue. He was perfect last game as well, 6 for 6. See if he can keep his streak going. Fasten, who kind of quiet tonight, 1 for 4 with 2 turnovers. Cloverfield, again, short player, getting a lot of rebounds. That's 4 so far for her tonight. Oscar, 2 points, 3 rebounds, and a big pair of blocks from the St. Bernard. Takaru, 2 points, 1 for 1 from the field. Not much going on in the 7 minutes he's been out there. Rathal, the block and assist to go along with 1 basket. Tapisa, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 for 1 from the field, and that was that big fadeaway we saw from her. Fitch, absolutely struggling right now, 1 for 7. Toughest game for him so far tonight. And the rookie, Hunt, only been on the floor for 5 minutes. Hasn't had many opportunities to step up. As we dive on over to the Voyager side, and you see Malka, everything but a block. Not his normal. Usually he's racked 1 up by now. And that just shows the players being more conscientious of him on the floor. Andreas, 7 rebounds, 6 points, steal, and a block. Martinu 1 for 3, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Carbonu, good game so far for him, 9 points, 1 rebound. And unlike the Alphas, it feels like the Voyagers have really spread the ball around to all their players. I think Timmons will end up being the one with the most points scored in the first half, as I'd 3 for 9, struggling a little bit, has given a block, which has kind of made up for his struggles on offense, and the 2 assists, 2 rebounds as well. Baltave not really shooting much tonight, playing passing point guard role so far with 2 assists, a rebound. Lynn, 3 blocks. Malcolm may not have any, but she has been racking them up. And yes, Timmons has been the biggest offensive presence, 10 points, 4 for 11. Eli, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 for 2 from the floor. Middendorf, quiet tonight, hasn't taken a shot, 7 minutes. Caliber, 7 points, 3 for 6 with a 3-pointer, 2 rebounds as well for the German Shepherd. Yegori, 3 rebounds, 0 for 1 so far. And with that, we will dive back into the second half. And it's a close game, and Winnipeg has to start sweating at some point with Albany biting at their heels. They really do want to get a nice, comfortable lead because as we've seen, if they flinch, Albany is more than willing to go for the bite and pull ahead.
Yeah, you know what they say, if you give an inch, they can easily take a mile. So Winnipeg has to really try and find ways to contain Albany, because this team is probably a little bit too close for comfort, but they do get the chance to go on the line for 2 as they are able to draw a foul on Terry, and I believe that was his first personal, actually.
It was. I mean, fouls have in general been, I don't want to say few and far between, but we have not seen any foul trouble for players. Even in that overtime game, I think we got to 4 at most. So that's another adjustment I'd kind of like to see from both teams if we end up going to a game 7, which would be, attacking the paint and drawing that contact, getting some players in foul troubles. Narcissa up against Malka. She struggled against him this series, but I think she's starting to figure him out as she gets the basket over top of him.
Yeah, for sure, and it's really been pretty much Narcissa's been able to advance, and what a great pass over to Coquinos, as the defender looks like they were trying to go a little bit too fast, trying to intercept that ball, and that leaves a wide open lane for the Dragon. And we're going to see Albany trying to answer right on back, as both teams are just showing that anything you can do, I can do better so far. What a way to start off the second half.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, I like Kivar's dunk there. The rim was rattling just a bit longer, and Baltave finally getting his first points of the game there, as we see Bastanut track down the ball a little slow. Hopefully he doesn't get called for a delay of game.
Well, yeah, I think that was just a little bit of they're trying to rush on over to get the ball real quick. But now we're going to see if Albany has a pretty solid plan to go up against this defense. If we get a quick hand off back over to Yona. Yona does get the screen for Kivar. Kivar wide open into the paint as he lays it up. And really good pick and roll play there for Albany.
Yeah, again, we're seeing that come out more and more in this series as teams taking advantage. And there we go. Watterson getting called for the contact against Baltave. But Baltave, remember, last game he missed 2 very critical free throws. And you have to imagine the pressure is on him. Hopefully, I don't know if he went home and practiced 1,000 free throws after that game. I certainly would, but a lot of pressure on the Puffin now to show that he has not been rattled by last game.
Yeah, that pressure must be very immense with those 2 costly free throws. That's something you really don't want to see. I know a lot of fans are very heartbroken trying to see if they can ice this, but he does not seem rattled as he does make the first.
Not to pick on you, Marcus, but do you have a tale of a time that your free throws came in to haunt you during a game?
There are a couple of times, a couple of moments here. I know that certainly within the playoffs, within the Arctics, we really wanted to see if we could try and push into the playoffs, but there were definitely a couple of shots that I really wish it could have gotten back and worked on a little bit more. But that comes in with the game for every player. As Cassius goes for 3, but it hits the side of the rim, so no good for her.
Well, what mindset does a player need to take in then, you know, after having one of those moments where, you know, they feel like they've really messed up or they feel like they let their team down? How can they, I guess, recover from that going forward?
Oh, I think it's just essentially just trying to rely on the support of your teammates. As Carbon was not able to get the third one. Oh, the 3-pointer. I don't know why I said third one there.
The third one, yeah, the third point.
But yeah, it's just essentially just trying to listen to your coaches, listen to your teammates. As we got a nice block over there, as it seems like it's going to be really hard for Albany to get some kind of offense going, and ends up losing some really good defense there for Winnipeg. As I'm trying to collect my thoughts, trying to explain things, but we get a quick layup, and it is good.
Yeah, no, I'm asking you to tell a heartfelt story here about a time you struggled in the playoffs, and then the game's going in the background.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's really just trying to just understand that, hey, it happens to the best of us. We're all first. Not every first is perfect, as we get to see Narcissa just really relying with going into those drives into the paint. But yeah, it's just like, you know, take those moments and learn from them and continue using that as his way to get stronger. That's basically the simple way of going through it. And right now, it's not looking back to be the case for that shot for Baltov.
Well, tough defender. It was against Watterson. That's not a easy matchup for him. And yeah, I have to imagine the players, especially young players, are trying to grow as much as they can. And in such a short time in this series, as Terry finally misses his three. First three missed in quite a while.
Yeah, and really that Terry has been one of the focal points on the offense for Albany, and really good for Winnipeg to kind of shut him down a little bit. Is now Winnipeg is able to extend the lead once again back up to 6 with Coquinos doing what he does best. And we finally get our first timeout of the game on Albany. They try to find a way to see if they can get some momentum back on their side.
Yeah, they need to draw up a good play here. They can't afford to. Obviously, Terry, had he hit that three, they would have let the game continue. But they can't afford to have an empty possession here. They do actually want to make a change. Both teams do at their post players. I mean, that makes sense. They have some. They need to make sure that the bigs are rested going into the final quarter. And actually, Albany going a bit more aggressive with their substitutions.
Yeah, for sure. They're really trying to rely on size this time around, as we're seeing that come into play right there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to matter.
Well, it mattered. The big polar bear boxing out 2 Winnipeg defenders to get the offensive rebound. I mean, she was pulling double duty. Yeah, sure, they were the point guard and shooting guard, but still, it's very difficult to multitask like that. As Martineau does hit the three, the other good boy.
Yeah, it just seems like the battle of the good boys right now as we continue on with this game, as Winnipeg does have the lead up by 7, 64-57. And now we're seeing another miss there for Albany, and now we might be seeing the lead extend once again, as Eve trying to feel good tonight. Really showing his good boy ability. He's going for another 3, and just like that, they're up double digits for the first time in this game.
Yeah, and this is where things start to get concerning if you're Albany. Winnipeg is starting to find some kind of momentum, some kind of drive, and Albany is starting to sputter out on offense.
Yeah, and Tapisa's not able to get that lay-in, and Lynn is really making her pay for that one as she gets the quick layup, and now they are just really just showing to put their foot on the gas to try to run away with this. As now Attack hands it over to Loomis. Loomis for a long 2, and it is good. Yeah, Loomis is pretty quiet so far. That's his second basket of the night.
Well, it's not necessarily the quiet part, but missing 7. It's almost unproductive on his part, as Baltave off the double screen gets another one back.
And Baltave is just trying to make sure that they extend this lead as much as possible. Now it's going to be really tough here as Lumen sends it over to Yona. Yona gets the screen. Trying to drive by the bigger defender, but he's not able to get it down as they're able to close it up. But they do get the rebound. And Arethal gets the screen, hands it over, and it was a quick, easy layup there.
Yeah, the Polar Bear getting it done down in the post, and they need to lean a bit more, I think, onto their bigs, Oscar and Tick, as you call her, and a nice block from Oscar there. Good defense, but Loomis is losing the ball.
Yeah, Loomis almost loses the ball, but he does get open lane, trying to lay it up, and it is no good. Trying to make something out of nothing, but it ends up not being the case. Good effort there, but it gets intercepted real quick. So now Albany just really showing that they are not going to give up without a fight. And so now Johansson going for that quick mid-ranger, and it is good. Another good boy doing good boy things as Albany cuts the deficit down to 8. Now Francois is able to get the screen, trying to get some space going, but the help was there this time. And now Albany is trying to pick things right back up as they go into the paint, lay it up, and it is good.
Right there, you see Albany actually improving quarter after quarter in their field goal percentage, and yet Winnipeg, I feel, has done the exact same here tonight. Huge block from behind by Oscar.
Yep, then now Albany's crowd is getting pretty loud up in here. They're going to have to be very, very careful if you're the Voyager, trying to get some kind of stop, and it is going to be the case there. Really good help defense, trying to clog up that lane as quick as possible. As Lynn hands it over to Francois. A lot of passing going on. The crowd's really getting into it, as right now we get to see Martin go for 3, and it hits the side of the rim. And now Yona trying to get the drive into it, but gets blocked there by Lynn. Lynn just showing the great defensive effort that had throughout this game, and it continues on. So now Baltev hands it up to Martineau. Martineau going for a 3, and it's no good as Loomis does get the rebound.
Yeah, I feel like Winnipeg is trying to force the 3-ball a little bit here. Yes, they're getting some open looks, but it's not working out. We will have a timeout. I think they are going to sub out some of the Voyagers, bring in maybe Timmins, try and see if he can provide some spark off the bench again. As less than 3 minutes to go in the third quarter here. 15 minutes left to go in total in this game, unless there's another overtime in the books.
Yeah, and I will have to say this right quick, because we keep saying that as soon as Winnipeg tries to take off the gas a little bit, Albany is just catching right back on up, as they're only down by 2 possessions once again. They were up by 12 at one point, Winnipeg was. But now it just seems like that they have to find some kind of answer to calm them down. They are able to do just that with a nice shot there by Caliber.
Yeah, and I feel like Winnipeg has brought their best bench players on the floor now, at least this game, Caliber and Timmins. They have been outscoring the Albany bench significantly here tonight. And if they can keep that up in this half, they'll be setting up the starters for a great finish. And Bassenhout, the only starter on the floor for Albany, hits the 3 wide open.
Yona, as you alluded to earlier in this series, he's not known to make the 3, but if you want him to make one, he will take it out. And he does just that. It comes deficit down to 1. The crowd is now definitely becoming a factor here.
Yeah, one basket, assuming Timmins does it. Oh, Timmins gets the spin move.
The spin move to break the ankles of his defender, going for that easy shot. That definitely quieted down. Really embarrassing that defender there on Albany.
Yeah, and I mean, again, the spin move just absolutely causing the pause to slip, and Ishijima trying to do a under the basket lay-in, no good. Like you said, the crowd is absolutely quiet after seeing their defender go to the floor, getting their ankles broken like that.
Yeah, right now Timmins, we'll see if he's able to do the same thing again. He does have a screen available to him. He does able to switch defenders. Hands it over to the bigger Shuck. But right now, his defender showing a little bit of scrappiness as Timmins trying to go for a tough mid-ranger, but it's no good. Some really good scrappiness on the defensive end for Albany. And now we'll see if they can try and get the deficit back down to 1 possession. with less than a minute left of the third quarter. And they aren't even get the miss, but Isajima does get the rebound and draw. So he will go on the line for 2. He is able to make the first one, but he does miss the second. So the deficit's only down to 4, 75 to 71, as Coquinos is able to just go ahead and extend it right back up. As I say that, of course.
You see, they already brought the starters back in. They, for the most part, I mean, Hunt's still on the floor for Albany, but Albany can't afford to wait, and Narcissa finds a wide open 3, and it is good.
Yeah, that's just pretty much vintage Narcissa right there. Really just cutting a deficit back down to 1 possession. A wide open look. Can't get any better than that. But we'll see if Timmons can match up point to point, as he does pass it over into the paint, but good block there.
Yeah, that was the Ricky Hunt getting the best of Malka there.
And yeah, right now, Terry O'Toole, who has been the saving grace, does have the rock. Will probably make the final shot. Will he get it down? And he will. Long 2 there. His paws were on the line, but they do cut the deficit down to 1 as we end this quarter with a missed shot for Winnipeg. But they are up by 1, 77 to 76. It's still anyone's game.
And Albany, as you saw, they were down by 3 at the half. And in the third quarter, they managed to pull back within 1 to finish it. So all they have to do is outscore Winnipeg by 2 here in the final quarter to take home Game 6 and to head back to Winnipeg and force a Game 7, which, again, if you're Winnipeg, you're up 3-1. If this series gets back to 3-3, you have to be leaning in the favor of Albany in that case. The momentum has completely swung in their direction at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Both teams are in a hard-fought battle, as these 2 teams just really want to try to find a way to get some kind of point ahead, as Malka does hand it over to Caliber. Caliber really being a great player off the bench, and so has been Timmons. Timmons trying to go for a long 2, and it hits the front of the rim. No good. So Albany has a chance to take the lead here, and who better to rely on than Cassius, as she does try to go for a tough mid-ranger, and it is going to go down anyway. I could safe to say that this was her best game of the series so far, really just saving it this moment.
And you see the crowd getting hyped as she made that shot. All of them standing up. Not only the first lead that Albany's had in a while, but it's coming from Narcissa. And Hunt will draw the call for the foul there. Going to the line for 2 is Timmons.
Yeah, Timmons has really done a very good job tonight with 12 points, but he does miss the first one.
As you were saying that, you were jinxing him. You could tell. You were putting the curse on him.
No.
Yes.
I was trying
Play
to
the
be very
tape.
complimentary.
Timmons is having a really good brick.
Well, he is able to make the second one.
Despite
so he
your
is able to tie
interference.
the game. I was not interfering anything.
Is that laser?
Like my
is
words,
that laser pointer in your paws?
No, there is no laser. Why are you trying to make it seem like that I'm trying to sabotage this game?
You won a Game 7, you know it.
Oh, shush. Anyways, Albany has been able to get the lead back up to 2. So right now, this crowd is still on their feet. Really want to see if they can extend this lead, but of course they got to get the other side. And Timmons trying to look for some kind of opening to get there, but he's not able to get it down.
Yeah, he's starting to struggle a little bit here, and you have to imagine Baltave's going to get subbed in at some point. Albany, he is, I'd argue, the better passer, even though Timmons, you have to give him the advantage in terms of experience. He has been in far more playoff situations, and I would say is the cooler paw of the 2, the cooler head of the 2. But you have to go with your best players in some moments.
Yeah, for sure. And now Coquinos going for a quick mid-ranger, and he is able to get a 10-footer as he ties it right back up, 80 apiece. Now this game is getting really, really interesting so far. As we get the quick screen, Narcissa does hand it over to Watterson. Watterson does have a smaller defender. He can probably see his way into the paint if he wants to. But instead hands it up to Cassius. Gets a quick screen. trying to go into the paint with just 5 seconds left of the shot clock, but it's going to be no good. So now Winnipeg has a chance to get the lead right back as Malka does not able to get it.
Yeah, great defense by Terry and the ability to get the rebound against the taller Furs, but there's Watterson on the other end. Fast break. The Otter is just too much for the Voyagers, and they have to call timeout. They are getting concerned here. 9 minutes left to go. They can't afford to let Albany build any kind of a lead.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be one of those situations as we are 9 minutes left of this game that there's going to be some type of energy that needs to be put in to put a stop to Albany, because they've been doing quite a bit of a run so far in this quarter. And really a bit of the third quarter. And they lose the ball right there. Nice pause there for Narcissa. Narcissa hands it into the bank, and Watterson lays it up and in. That is not what you want to see coming out of a timeout there for Winnipeg. And it just seems like they are way over their heads in this one. And so far, Timmons has to hand it over to Kokinos. Now we're trying to see if we get the draw on the foul, and they will be able to do just that, and that'll be on Cassia. Francois will be able to go on the line for 2.
Again, free throws going to come down to, I think, in the end. This game has been far too close, and neither team can afford to miss charity points.
Yeah, that's really kind of been the big thing here as we get a quick shot, and he does make the first. Yeah, we're going to see some quick subs right here as Timmons does get to sit down for the rest, which is probably much needed. Then he's really starting to be a little bit of a liability, but Martinez is able to make the second, so they do cut the deficit down to 2. Now with Cassius with the rock, she's had a really good game, so Albany is just trying to see if they can try and go full speed ahead and get some kind of cushion here. As Cassius gets the ball right back, gets a quick screen, going for a quick mid-ranger, but it's no good this time.
Baltave out on the floor now. I think he's a bit more of an offensive threat than Timmons, even though Timmons has been proving to be a dangerous tool. Still hot from outside.
Terry O'Toole, the good boy, striking again. Now they're up by 5. Right now, this is really looking to be a very good game for both of these squads. But right now, Winnipeg needs to find some kind of answer. Martineau is going up against Cassius. Gets the quick screen. Drives by both defenders, and he gets to dunk it down pretty. He was a little slow to get up for that one, but he does get the basket. So now they're only down by 3. Now Watterson getting double teamed a little bit here. As Cassius going for that 3, but it hits. My heart kind of sunk a little bit because I thought she was going to get that one in.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Albany Alphas have definitely, I feel like, been better from beyond the arc tonight. And Andreas fighting through the contact and making the shot. No foul called, though.
Yeah, and now they cut the deficit down to 1, so the crowd's kind of quiet down a little bit, but that might change with that shot right there. And yeah, Albany is just really just showing that they want to try and keep this lead as much as they can, not giving Winnipeg any kind of room for error. As Kokinos being guarded pretty heavily as he tried to pass it over to, I believe that was Baltev, but it gets intercepted, and that's going to probably cost them. No. Baltev trying to go back a little bit. Passes up, trying to give it up to Eve, and he is able to lay it up and in.
And Eves definitely needs to step it up. We saw him in game 4 lead a massive comeback, and ooh, a big block there from Marnu, but Narcissa gets a second chance at it.
Still not able to get the miss. I feel like that she was a little bit flustered from that block there, and we're seeing a lot less of that in this game compared to other games, but they're still able to get a block here and there against her. Is Baltev. does get the switch, trying to lay it up, and he makes it look way too easy there with that basket. So now, Winnipeg does have the lead once again, and Albany's trying to get it right back. That possession. And we get a nice dish into the paint as Malcolm tries to lay it up, but no good. Oh, what a great defensive effort there for Winnipeg as they get to steal the ball right back. And Coquinos hands it over to Eve, and Eve tries to pull it back, trying to calm it down and get a play drawn up. Now Kevin hands it over to Coquino. Coquino's going for a fadeaway, and it's good. So now they extend levels up to 3, and that was a 10-2 run so far for the Voyager.
Yeah, and Albany has to call timeout. They need to get a change of momentum back in their favor here. 4 minutes left to go, and Winnipeg is starting to find the rhythm, and they can't afford. They need to disrupt it somehow. And the timeout here is hopefully an opportunity for them to drop a play and maybe make some defensive changes.
Yeah, that's certainly the possibility for this for Albany, because that has been the slowness. And what a good defense stop there, as Winnipeg does get the steal. Not something you want to see if you're Albany, as now we're trying to see if Martineau does get the mid-ranger, but it's no good. So far, Albany has been able to see if they can try and keep up. As they try to pass it, but it almost got taken away. But and we get a tough 3, and it is good.
Yeah, that was just a great screen. You've absolutely calling for that, especially after Terry passed it to the back of the puffin, and thankfully it just bounced right back into his paws. I don't think that was a design pass.
Yeah, I don't think he was really trying to plan for that, but he was right back. And
I mean, you see it on inbound sometimes, but not in the middle of a play.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks like that Winnipeg's trying to get that lead back, but it's not going to be the case. Albany has a chance to take the lead here, and they are able to do that with Cassius just showing her strut. Look at the scoring tonight, 27 points so far tonight. And that's just going to show how much of an improvement it has been between the previous games.
Yeah, I mean, she's still been struggling. The defense has been getting their paw in her face and has racked up a few blocks against her, but this is what she's been trying to do is, fight through the defense and carry the team to victory. And she is giving Albany the slightest chance here for a Game 7. The ball's almost lost, but Kivar!
Ooh, nice shot there from Kivar in the mid-range. Chance opportunity. And now with 12 points to his pocket, he is able to extend this lead up to 4, 96-92. With only 3 minutes left of the game, the crowd is really chanting defense. And what a great steal there from Watterson.
I almost thought the ball was going to go into the basket still after that tip. That went straight up to the hoop, and I was a little worried about that.
Yeah, right now Watterson seeing if he can try to get his best effort. He finds his way to get it to Cassius. Cassius, have to bring it back a little bit. Looking for something as Watterson gonna have to go for a shot that he is not known for at all. Clearly he misses there. Not a good possession for Albany, but they still have a chance to try and get a stop here. As Baltimore goes for a quick lob, but it gets intercepted. And Albany is able to try and prevent disaster with that play. And Kivar goes to coast, but it's no good.
And despite that big block, Winnipeg, being a little cold now. That 10-2 run is something in the mirror now for them. Kivar pushing it to 6.
Kivar laying it up and in, and has really been the spark plug. And now Albany is up by 6. Less than 2 minutes left of this game. And you know what? After past previous games, never say never, ladies and gentlemen. And one opportunity. Of course, as I say that, we get a chance for a 3-point play. And we get just that. That old school 3-point play doesn't come in fruition, as now Winnipeg is only down by 3, 98-95.
And I mean, you look at that, and again, Winnipeg and Albany have both shown the ability to make big comebacks, and Malka
Oh!
Does the great defensive stop, blocking it right out of bounds. And like I said, we can see some highlights of some great blocks tonight from both teams.
Yeah, both teams really showing how well they are defending in the paint. But now Albany still has a shot at making a shot with less than 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Cassius gets the screen, goes for three, and it's in and out, but we get the nice rebound for Kivar, and he dunks it home. Right now, Kivar dunking it like an Oreo tonight. And now Winnipeg needs to find a way to calm this crowd down. We try to get a finger roll, and it's good. Right now, Baltev with this 10th point of the game does still keep it within one possession, but they got to get a stop here if they want to try to tie it up. And now Cassius going for that three. Once again, no good. Coquinos does get the rebound. And he is looking a little bit tired here. But of course, he's trying to use every bit of energy he can to try and help his team get back into one, but he's not able to get that mid-ranger.
Yeah, again, Winnipeg has to step on the gas. They have to finish this series here tonight, because if Albany up by 5 with 30 seconds left to go, the fans are definitely on their feet now.
Yeah, it seems to me that this game is really looking to wrap up. I'm trying to not say that like
Caster's curse
the past
again.
2 games. I'm not Caster cursing.
Hey,
but
7 points in 14 seconds was what Albany can do. Let's see if Winnipeg can up them one more.
Yeah, it's an anything you can do, I can do better moment. But right now, I'm trying to keep my brain from saying it because anything can happen, and we have seen in this series that anything can happen. But with Albany up by 5, Winnipeg has to do something to be able to.
They have to hit a
cut
3.
this deficit. They have to.
Now the good
and I would
news
have
is,
to rely on Francois and E for this one, right?
Yeah, and Baltave is not a bad three-pointer. Oh, and they want to go ahead and call a second timeout. That's unusual. Usually they let the play go, but maybe they didn't like the inbounds there. They didn't go to the player they wanted.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, the positional situation. It's not really there, but that timeout will be the last for Winnipeg, and that's going to be a little bit of a scary thing if you're a Voyager fan, because that timeout could really help out if they are able to make that basket and see if they can probably get that stop here.
So I imagine the play is going to be a three-pointer as quick as possible, and I would honestly go ahead and go for the foul on Albany and let them go to the free throw line, because they could burn the clock out and leave you with less than a second, and I mean, you don't want to do a full court heave.
Yeah, for sure. And right now we get to see Baltov does hit the rock. He may be the one trying to get the shot here, but instead trying to drive into the paint, and he's not able to get it down, but the tip in is good.
Now they have to steal the inbound.
They have to, but it's not going to be the case, and they quickly foul.
One more opportunity before the bonus.
Yes, they have another chance to probably try and intercept this pass, and they're not going to get it down, so we're going to see another foul. And I believe they are now in the bonus. And the first one does go down. It is a 2-possession play as Vasenhood does make the second, making it look way too easy. So now this is looking really, really close to what we had from game 5. And we get a quick 3, but it's no good. And I think that's all she wrote. Albany.
They did foul Kivar, who would be the one to foul potentially here from the free throw line, him or Watterson. But he makes both. And okay, Winnipeg, this is less than the 14 seconds Albany had. If you do manage to come back, it'd be very impressive. But they have to rely on the threes, and Carvenu not able to get it in. Oh my gosh, we are going to a game 7.
Yes, we are. Oh my goodness.
And I mean, I'm going to let the stats just roll in the background while we talk. You have to imagine the momentum being back in Albany's favor, that they feel like they're they have to be the favorite team going to Winnipeg at this point, I feel like.
Yeah, I completely 100% agree with you with the fact that Albany is able to just, considering the fact that Albany was able to take game 1 and how they were able to finally get that one game at home that desperately needed, and winning these past 2 games alone, it really kind of goes to show that how big of a change the momentum has been there, and it just seems like everything's going the way for Albany.
Yeah, and I mean they've been close games, and I definitely felt like in Game 4, seeing them give up, and you have to imagine if they had managed to hold on there, they would be going home champions right now. But in the end, they have forced a Game 7 at the very least, and you have to imagine for the Winnipeg players, uh, the fact that they gave up Game 5 in such a fashion that's going to be on their minds even in Game 7. It's going to be very difficult. They're going to say they're not thinking about it, but it's very hard to completely wipe that kind of thought from your mind in this situation.
It's extremely difficult. It's one of the hardest things to do. I mean, I've definitely felt that way in a playoff game. I can imagine what being in the finals in this kind of situation, and just seeing everything crumbling down around you, because Winnipeg had this. Winnipeg had this, especially back at home in Game 5, and now they're gonna have to go back home and try and salvage this. And I think at any point in any moment of them having to rely on home, it has to be Game 7, and even then it can be pretty heavy because they've frozen up sometimes. And even though they have 1-1 at home, it has been after getting punched in the mouth. So it's going to be very intriguing to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and again, they have to rely on their veterans there, and that's kind of where I draw on the question of okay, what kind of veteran experience does Winnipeg really have? I mean, you look at Eves. Yes, he's been around a while. Yes, Timmins has been around a while. Yes, Malka's been around a while, but they don't have this kind of high pressure experience. And then you go and look at Albany, and I brought it up at the very beginning of the series when I was leaning towards them. Mastinhoot, two-time finalist. Narkissa, champion. Kivar, champion. They just seem to have more players that have been in this situation before that have this experience, and it's showing here. Not a no ordinary team makes the finals, but it takes an extraordinary team to look at a 3-1 deficit on the road and come back to push it to Game 7. Most teams I would have ran off, and I was already writing off Albany, honestly, after that collapse in Game 4, but they've shown that veteran resiliency. They've stepped up here.
Yeah, and it just really goes to show. I mean, Game 5, we saw Terry just pretty much just tore up the place at the end. But this time in Game 6, it was Cassius Narkissa just really showing up in this game as well. Those two have really been the key factors of Albany's success throughout this entire season, and they are once again showing it here in these past two games. And that's something you would have to expect them to pretty much bring it all in as they go to Game 7. And I'm just very excited.
Yeah,
It's been a while since 7, Orion, and the
it
way that we've
has.
got it in, and the way that we've been able to do it in this kind of fashion, being able to see both teams giving it tit for tat on the road, like both teams only won one game at home. That's wild to me.
It has. Again, both teams have really shown up and have not ran off any game. But any kind of final thoughts before we head off? I mean, we have one more game to go. The next game is the deciding game. There is no afterwards. It is one team will be declared the champion.
All I have is really one question. Do you consider this probably the best finals we've had in the past 5 years?
It's tough to say. I would have said game one and two were very. I mean, obviously Albany winning game one set the tone for the series, but it was not a very close game. Honestly, the past three games have just been so insane that it is definitely seems like we're heading for a crescendo right now. I can't imagine if game seven we might have a double overtime, a triple
Oh
overtime. I mean, that
God.
might cement us into the greatest series,
Woo!
playoff series, if finals, if we get a multiple overtime game seven or a
Oh
buzzer beater
Lord.
game seven.
That yeah, we're seeing we have a lot of possibilities as we head into this Game 7 series. But I feel like this is going to be a very exciting time. I cannot wait to see how we get there as we get back up north in Canada. Let's have some fun here in Winnipeg.
And we'll see y'all next time. Thanks once again. I was Ryan Eastman, and that was Marcus Baylor. See you next time.
See ya.